Good morning, Grenada. It's your boy Troy Gill, and of course, welcome to Rise and Shine. And you know how we do it every morning. We have great content, great information coming your way. But of course, we want to start with this morning's fitness to get you pumped and ready for today. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Grendeck advises customers that its corporate headquarters at Dusty Highway and customer care centers at Bruce Street Mall, Grenville, and Dusty Highway will be closed on Friday, 26 November 2021 from 8 a.m. to 12 noon to facilitate a general staff meeting. All offices will reopen at 12 noon. We regret the inconvenience caused as a result of this closure.
Grendeck, energizing our Grenada.
All businesses start small and grow into successful corporations. With a strong team, you can have a strong business. Protect the employees that stand by you with Beacon's Be Better Group Health Plan. It's a customizable and affordable health plan for smaller businesses that offers many of the benefits of a large corporate plan. Call us at 440-4447 or log on to beacon.co.tt for more info today.
The Christmas holiday season is weeks away, and MTV, along with Magic FM, is providing advertising rates, programs, and special deals for businesses. Let us help you boost your products, services, and Christmas specials. Don't have an advert? Don't stress. We can create it for you. Contact MTV Marketing Department for details and book it on 440-8171, 405-5718 or mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Book early and bring cheer to families for Christmas. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the season for sorrel, a sweet drink sorrel. It's the season for sorrel. Your favorite flavored soft drink now comes in a limited edition sorrel flavor. Enjoy a cool sorrel sweet drink this Christmas. Available in 591 ml packet sizes. Sweet drink, we drink. It's the season for sorrel. A sweet drink sorrel.
Proudly produced in Grenada by the Grenada Bottling Company Limited.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Troy Gill, alright? And today I'm going to be taking you through a series of exercises, alright? About 3 sets of a superset, alright? To get your midsection in shape, alright guys? To get you pumped and ready for today, alright? So this is an exercise that you can incorporate into your daily routine, alright guys? So let's get ready, let's go, alright? So we're going to be focusing on the core. Today we're going to be focusing on the midsection. But first of all, we want to get into an active rest. All right, guys, to get your blood flowing, get your heart pumping. All right, so you can get ready for today's workout. All right, guys, so lift those knees, move those hands. All right, guys, we're getting warmed up. All right, this is what you call active rest. So you're not doing the exercise, all right, guys, but you're just getting warmed up. All right, getting warmed up and ready for the first set. All right, guys. Right, so follow me as we go along. So we're gonna get right to. All right, guys. I want you to put your hand on your temple. Right. Send that leg back, and you're doing a standing crunch alternating. All right, guys. Ready? Let's go. 1, 2. Nice and easy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we switch. Let's go. 1, 2. Control. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Right. Your core muscles. All right, guys. Hands on the temple again. Hand on your waist, and you lift up. 1. Lift those knees. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice and easy. 8, 9, 10. All right, so you make that switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Good job, guys. Final set. All right. Final set in the first round. All right, guys. Ready? So you're working the obliques now. All right. Let's go. 1, small movement. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, guys, if you are following. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go. 8, 9. Come on. 10. Woo! Good job, guys, if you are following. Final set, right, in the second round. Let's go. 1, 2, nice and controlled. 3, you're supposed to be feeling it right here. 4, 5 on your oblique. 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. 10. Right, so we're targeting that, as they say, the muffin top. All right, let's go. 1, come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Good job, guys, if you are following. So we are back into a state of active rest. All right, guys, so we're moving. Remember to keep those knees moving. Lift those knees, move those arms. All right, guys. Woo! So we are approaching the final set, guys. Hope you've been following. All right, and remember, it's important to drink your water in and between sets. All right, guys, so we're going into the final set, guys. You guys ready? All right, let's go. Final set. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, nice and easy. 5, control. 6, come on. 7, let's go. 8, 9, 10. Good. Alternating standing crunch. Let's go. Next side. 1, 2, come on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10. Woo! Good job, guys, if you're following. All right, second set in the final round. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, 5, 6, 7, come on, 8, 9, one more, 10. Woo! Then we switch. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come on, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10. Woo! Good job, guys. All right, so the final set, the final round. All right, let's make it count. All right, ready, guys? Let's 1, 2, nice and controlled. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, come on, 8, 9, one more, 10. Woo! All right, and we're gonna finish it off now. All right, guys, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come on, muffin top. 6, 8, 9, 10. Good job, guys. If you were following, you made it to the end of the routine. Right, guys? And I just want to encourage you this morning, don't give up. All right, guys? No matter what, every single day, you do some form of physical activity, and it's going to go a long way, guys. All right, guys? I also want to encourage you to drink your water. Make water your #1 beverage, guys. It's really important to stay hydrated. And I also want to encourage you to make healthy choices today, right, for the rest of the week. All right, remember to make healthy choices. Eat healthy, because your life, your health depends on it. All right, guys, so we're gonna do a simple stretch just to warm down a little bit, right? Send the knees back. You reach down as far down as you can go, wherever it is that you can reach. You hold that stretch. Hold it. Hold it down as you reach. Right, guys, and back. Nice. Good job, guys. I want you to interlock your fingers. You step out. You stretch up to the sky, all the way up and down. Woo! Next side, interlock your fingers, you reach up and back down. Woo! Good job, guys. If you are following, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. All right, guys, stay tuned to Rise and Shine. We've got a lot more content, great information coming your way. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine.
With the news in detail, I'm Tony Julian. In a matter of days, a 2022 budget will be presented in Parliament. Given the COVID-19 period in 2020, many said the budget did not reflect a pandemic period. Fast forwarding to 2022, many are questioning what the budget will entail. MTV spoke with a few people about their expectations for this upcoming budget cycle, as we hear now from Rachel Bain.
In less than 48 hours, the 2022 budget will be presented to the people of Grenada. Will it surpass the $1.2 billion that was presented in 2021? Time alone will tell. However, the major concern is, what will the focus areas be? MTV spoke to social and political commentator William Joseph about his expectations for the upcoming budget cycle.
It came in the context of the structural adjustment program. I think that the program has come to an end, but those high taxes have remained locked in. So again, it's confirming, I would think, the need for there to be adequate resources to finance the goods and services that we demand, such that the Treasury does not go broke.
Tourism, health, and agriculture, Joseph says, are very important areas. However, emphasis should and must be placed on improving health and agriculture.
Region, spending on health, that is important. It will always be important. Education tends to be is both a social and an investment activity at the same time. You know, we cannot develop our country without all of these things working in unison, the three you've identified.
MTV also spoke to a member of the opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, Terence Forrester, who believes that the upcoming budget will reflect one for the next election, which is due in just about a year. He describes it as a pie-in-the-sky budget.
I believe that this budget presentation on Friday would reflect an elections budget. A budget that speaks to increase capital spending, capital projects, in order to try and influence the voters. I think it's a budget that's going to speak to increased promises, which really, when you evaluate it, does not have very great sounding.
He also had his views on other investments and surpluses.
Tourism brings in a quick dollar, but we have to be looking at long-term sustainability. We also need to start looking inward, because budgets of the past have invested heavily in tourism as opposed to agriculture, and we need to start looking at the value of what we have locally.
The 2022 national budget will be presented on Friday at 10 a.m. by the Minister of Finance, Gregory Bowen, under the theme, Towards Vision 2035, Protecting Lives, Safeguarding Livelihoods, and Investing for Growth and Resilience. For MTV News, Rachel Bain.
After Parliament on Friday, the Grenada Movement, TGM, will be identified by the mace. The mace makes up part of one of Grenada's main spices, the nutmeg. According to the Deputy Chairman of the party, Michael Church, the decision was made months ago. Mace, according to Deputy Chairman, is a universal product, and the party can identify its programs to its likeness of being just that. One of the programs implemented, Church says, the party will be universally known.
It's a normal thing that if you have an organization, a political party, then you get a symbol. The Mace and Son is one of our local products. Yes, it's one of our local products. And we also ourselves as being the Isle of Spice, you know. And if that name is so universally known, then why not choose Mace? Because our party wants to be universally known also for its good governance and, you know, positive national development and programs. Mind you, we made that decision months ago.
The Grenada Union of Teachers, GUT, Cooperative Credit Union, has awarded 18 scholarships to students pursuing education at the T.A. Marichaud Community College, TAMCC. Tonya St. Louis Lawrence has more in this report.
The Grenada Union of Teachers Credit Union continues to make good on its pledge to support its members and the youth of the nation. The program, which started in 2012, awards 10 T.A. Marichaud Community College scholarships each year but this was increased in 2020 considering the additional economic constraints on families and communities awarded on a need and performance basis. As a strong supporter of education, the Grenada Union of Teachers Cooperative Credit Union is actively involved in providing financial support to students and learning institutions across the Tri-Island state, and to date, the credit union has invested over $120,000 in grants and scholarships for students. General Manager at the credit union, Ritisha Boyd, says the scholarship is given bearing in mind that education is one of the tools that can be used to develop one's self to change their life.
And don't take it for granted, because many of us here are living proof of what education can do for you. So I urge you recipients to make use of the opportunity. We want you to be motivated, have initiative, be self-starters and leaders.
Boyd had some words of encouragement for the parents of the scholarship recipients.
Your presence here today shows the commitment that you have to your child. Continue to encourage them. We know it is difficult, and it is even more difficult during these COVID times. And so we are with you. It's people helping people. And that is why we do what we do, because the movement is a movement championed, run by people, for people.
As for the recipients, the scholarships were well received as they will put them in a better position to fulfill their future career goals.
This scholarship would be helpful to me because it would help me to pursue my dreams of becoming an administrative assistant.
This would benefit me a lot by getting a degree in culinary arts and trying to better myself and helping me to achieve my goal by becoming a chef.
It will help me so that I wouldn't have to worry about my financial needs. Instead of being worried about where the money coming from, I'll be more focused on my schoolwork.
Heating, ventilation, AC and refrigeration. For starters, giving them the means to send me to college, and that is a huge help as it takes a load off my parents and give them time to focus on bus fees and getting me equipment.
Reporting for MTV News, I am Tonya St. Louis Lawrence.
ACB Grenada Bank, which recently commenced its operations in Grenada, will soon be transitioning to a brand new operating system. According to the country manager of ACB, Cara Warner, this is a necessary transition which will bring even more benefits to customers. But let's get more on this from Danella Hostin.
As of December 6th, customers of ACB Grenada Bank can look forward to improved customer service and efficiency after the bank transitions to its new system. This is according to country manager Cara Warner. According to her, they are still using the platform which was previously used by the former RBTT Bank. She says this new system comes with many perks for the clients.
We are changing the system that we are currently operating on. Currently, we are still operating on RBTT's platform, and we will make the change to switch to ACB's Caribbean core banking system. With technology, our efficiency will significantly improve, which means that the wait time in branch will be shorter. Better yet, our clients will now have the ability to process the majority of their transactions through our online banking platform or by utilizing our international debit cards. Our conversion of systems will commence on the weekend of December 3rd and will take effect from December 6th.
With this system, Warner explained that there are increased security features, particularly with the international debit cards, which she stated are chip and PIN.
Well, our new debit card is a chip and PIN. What that means is that our clients no longer have to swipe a magnetic strip in order to process transactions on their debit cards. This is more secure because a transaction can only be processed by using a PIN number. So when you utilize for payments, you must input a PIN.
Additionally, she noted that the bank's online banking platform will now be more interactive and have more features.
Our online banking platform will now be more interactive with increased capabilities. Not only can clients utilize this for wire transfers, it can also be utilized for stop payments on checks, as well as to order new checkbooks. And one of our most exciting features, which the millennials will love, is our peer-to-peer payment. This allows funds to be transferred from one of our clients' account to another almost instantly.
As the new system is being rolled out, Warner says the bank is aiming to reduce any hiccups that may occur by gradually introducing it to their clients. And she is making a clarion call for clients to learn more about the updated system. She said other features will be introduced as time goes by. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
Extension officers are reacquainted with best practices for soursop production as the Ministry of Agriculture continues to provide technical and theoretical information that contributes to a viable sector. But Troy Gill has more.
Over 20 extension officers gathered at the Grambra Estate on Tuesday for a hands-on workshop on soursop production, an initiative facilitated by the Ministry of Agriculture to improve their knowledge on the export crop. Grenada currently has a unique opportunity as it is the only country that can export fresh soursop to the U.S. market, a market position that it can continue to capitalize on. Extension Assistant Lyndon George and his colleague Trisha Marast explained that while this opportunity exists for Grenada, the information attained during the training will be able to help farmers to have more marketable fruits.
As we all know, Grenada is at its epicenter of the soursop crave, and we're the only country that can supply fresh soursop to the USA. And the techniques of pruning and pollination, these are important techniques that we can use for the soursop sector. These techniques are important techniques that our local farmers will be able to use to increase the production level and improve the quality of the fruits.
Facilitator and agronomist Lawrence St. Louis says this is the ministry's way of training the trainers.
That when they go out in the field to the farmers, then they would be on point with whatever technical advice that they provide to the farmers. They'll be able to show them what to do and what not to do, to explain to them why it is they should do that, the importance of the different maneuvers that they are learning. And so that is the reason for all of the extension staff. All of our officers are here along with their supervisors so that everybody can have the same information and then we can all move forward. So today is a the trainers day, and then the trainers will now go out in the field and train the farmers.
This is the final in a series of training on soursop held in the year 2021 by the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Forestry. Training sessions during the year focused on a number of areas including botany of the family, varieties, propagation of soursop from seed, land preparation and planting, water management, pruning practices, and others. Officers were also provided with a technical guide of information on soursop production that can be shared with the farmers they serve. For MTV News, I am Troy Gill.
The 26th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, that's COP26, took place in Glasgow from the 31st of October right through to the 12th of November. A primary imperative of the meeting is radical reductions in fossil fuel emission during this decade and their elimination by the year 2050. In this Rachel Bain report, we get an update on the meeting from the end of Grenada's representation at the sessions.
According to Minister with Responsibility for Climate Resilience and the Environment, Simon Steele, global warming is currently at 1.1 degrees Celsius. However, globally, countries are on a path of 2.7 degrees by the end of this century, which the minister says will be devastating. Therefore, there needs to be an amicable agreement in place by all countries to maintain the target of 1.5 degrees Celsius.
Recognizing that target 1.5 with universal acceptance of that was a major step forward. The call for greater ambition, greater action by all, recognizing the science was a critical component. There are Some countries that are more progressive, far more aware as to what is happening and what needs to be done than others. But there was almost universal acceptance of the science and the actions that are required.
A call was made to the International Monetary Fund.
And we came out of Glasgow with an agreement that those finance flows would be doubled, so from about approximately 20 billion per year to vulnerable states such as ours, up to $40 billion. So a significant outcome there.
Small island developing states, according to Minister Steele, made a call for greater ease and access to available funding.
Many of us in the Caribbean are classified now as middle-income countries and are prohibited from accessing certain concessional and grant funds that are available. And recognition of the need, again, for those financial institutions to address that for greater ease of access to those resources.
Minister Steele highlighted a historic moment during the COP26 meeting.
What was historic was reference to coal and the phasing down, not phasing out as some countries wanted, but to start phasing down coal production and consumption. Coal is the single largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions.
There was also a bit of disappointment for small island developing states such as Grenada.
Where we were disappointed was the area of loss and damage. And loss and damage speaks to those areas that go beyond adaptation. A hurricane, we cannot stop a hurricane, but what we can do is minimize the losses that are incurred during such an event, and how we can accelerate our recovery coming out of that.
For MTV News, Rachel Bean.
Basil Harford, a well-known public serviceman who has served in many fields within the public service, has passed. Harford played an instrumental role as a trade unionist, and during his tenure as the president of the Grenada Trade Union Council and Public Workers Union, and we'll get more on it from Donella Hostin.
Basil Harford was a stalwart in the public service, well known and respected for his work in defending the issues of workers, including the negotiating of salaries and other benefits. He served in many capacities, including as a president of the Grenada Trades Union Council and the Public Workers Union. MTV spoke to Andre Lewis, current president of the GTUC, who on behalf of the institution paid tribute to Comrade Harford, saying he dedicated the majority of his life to public service.
Grenada Trades Union Council pays tribute to the life and contribution of Comrade Basil Harford, one who has given most of his adult life to the labor movement and to workers in particular. Comrade Harford was the president from 1985 to 1987, but he also represented as president of the Public Workers Union. His contribution to labor, his contribution to the public sector, his contribution to Grenada is documented.
Lewis said he is grateful to the Harford family, particularly Madonna Harford, the wife of the late Basil Harford, who also served as president of the GTUC.
We are eternally grateful to his family for sharing him with us, to his wife, Comrade Sister Madonna Harford, who herself has been president of the Grenada Trades Union Council from 2005 to 2015. So here you have both husband and wife, given their life, given their time to the working class movement, both rising to the highest level of presidency of the Grenada Trades Union Council.
Former General Secretary of the GTUC, Ray Roberts, shared similar sentiments, highlighting the depths of Harford's service to workers of the nation.
Basil was one of the leaders who not only demonstrated capacity in intellect and wisdom, but I think what was outstanding was his ability to have camaraderie with all categories of workers. He served as president perhaps in a period that I think many of us who were actively involved in would never forget, that the fall of the overthrow of the Gary government and then the revolution and the subsequent collapse of the rebel. You know, those are trying times for workers.
Roberts says he believes that the Grenadian people have lost an exceptional individual. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
Don't get so busy that you miss giving just a little kiss to the ones you love. And don't even wait a little while to give them just a little smile. A little is enough. So don't save it all for Christmas Day. Find a way to give a little love every day. Don't save it all for Christmas Day. Find your way, 'cause holidays have come and gone. Love lives on. You give on love. How could you wait another minute? A hug is warmer when you're in it, and baby, that's a fact. Saying I love you's always better. Seasons, reasons, they don't matter. So don't hold back.
Good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine. What a beautiful way to start off this morning's program. Just bringing out the reason for the season, the music that sets the tone for all that we anticipate this Christmas season. Sonika McKee, a beautiful piece there. Don't save it all for Christmas. We should do it every day. I love the way we started off this morning. What a beautiful way to start off today. It is the 25th of November. It is Thanksgiving Day in the U.S. and here in Grenada. We know that we do have a number of U.S. nationals and citizens living in Grenada. So we say happy Thanksgiving to them and to us as we celebrate, as we observe, because most people do observe it. I think we have a lot to be grateful for. It was quite a year. It was quite a year, but we are alive, we are here. So Thanksgiving should be every day. Giving thanks for life, giving thanks for family, giving thanks for good health. So much to be grateful for. Today, we can use the U.S.'s observance to be grateful for all that we have. So I am your host, Oslin Crosby, and today it's going to be nothing less but another informative program. It's already 7:41. What we will do, we don't have the weather for you this morning, but I will encourage you to always be prepared for whatever the weather brings for us, though we are just in the process of concluding the official hurricane season. 5 more days, and we say goodbye to the 2021 official hurricane season. But we encourage you to always be prepared, because remember, even outside of the official season, we can be affected by severe weather that can displace us somewhat, and we are still living within the pandemic. So it's important that we are always mindful of this. So we're going to get into our first discussion for the morning. Today we start off with some football. We start off with football. Last Tuesday, was it Tuesday? Yes, on Tuesday we spoke to Mr. Modest Nixon about football, the team's contribution. But today we speak to the competitions officer at the GFA. Mr. Bruce Swan has been in football, has been in sports for quite a long time, and he continues to contribute. Mr. Swan, good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine.
Good morning, and thank you for hosting me.
Always a pleasure. Now we have an opportunity to speak about what I know many people are looking forward to. We are looking forward to getting back to some sense of normalcy. But as somebody said to me on Tuesday, not normal, but better. It is our hope that the time that we had to think, that rest in time due to the pandemic, that we come back, we have all had an opportunity to think things through, come up with some better ideas, and also modify what exists. And now the GFA is ready to reopen competitions. Great news for our teams, great news for the people or spectators who want to go to just get to do something other than staying home. So Swan, let's speak about this, the resumption of competition.
Well, the GFA is going to resume competitions. We know that we were given permission to start or host sporting activity. However, those activities are without fans. That is something we're still battling with, but hopefully that will sort out itself as we go forward. Our major competition, the Premier League, will kick off on the 11th, and if people forget where the teams are, we can just let you know. Paradise, they are on top of the table on 31 points. Both Hurricanes is on second with 31 points, but Paradise, they have 3 more goals than Hurricanes. In third place, Hard Rock is on 21 points. Then we have FC Comohon on 19 points, and St. John Sports in 5th on 19 points. FC Comohon is 3 goals ahead of St. John Sports. Queen's Park Rangers, they are on 15 points. Montreach on 13 points. Chantimel on 12 points. Saab on 8, and Eagle Super Strikers on 3. So these are your top teams in the country, your top 10 teams, and they will be kicking off on the 11th that weekend, 11th and 12th. Chantimel would play FC Comohon at 4, and that game kicks off at 5 o'clock. Queen's Park Rangers, they would host Eagle Super Strikers at Kirani James Athletic Stadium, and that game also kicks off at 5 o'clock. That's on Saturday 11th. On Sunday the 12th, we have 3 games. Hard Rock, they will host Hurricanes in 4 at 5 o'clock. Saab will host Montreach in Victoria Park, Grenville at 5 o'clock. And St. John Sports, they will host Paradise in Concord Peters Park at 5 o'clock. We only going to have 2 games before the Christmas. The next fixture will be on the 19th of December. And then we only have 4 more fixtures, which we would play in January, and hopefully nothing happens and we can smoothly finish the Premier League. But we also have other competitions. We have on the 19th that we want to complete before the Christmas, and we're going to finish the under 15s in January, and we also have the under 13s parish competition. They would have their fixture on the 12th in Queen's Park. That's Sunday the 12th also in Queen's Park. So they would close off. They have 1 more round of matches to play. So that is basically for our competitions. And we are going to be hosting Antigua. Antigua is going to be coming in on the 15th. That's the under 17 girls. They are going to play a few matches against our national under 17 as our under 17 team prepare for the final round of CONCACAF next year, February.
I know one of the things that the GFA is trying to do is increase games or competitions so that our players have an opportunity so that they can play more, because we know the more they play is the better they will get, and also to expand the different age groups that are involved in competition. We spoke about the under-13s, we spoke about the under-17s, we know we have the under-20s, we have the national team. Let us speak about our grassroots, our very little people that we start them early, those who see their parents playing, their uncles playing, have seen them forever, and would love to be a part, because they're young, and we know that that is how we start identifying talent and grooming them at that stage. So we know, I know that GFA always had a very active grassroots program. Let's speak about the grassroots.
Well, the grassroots program, definitely we're going to be starting, well, not starting, but resumption of some level of competitions on a monthly basis within the parish. And that would be for both U10 girls and U10 boys, and also U13 girls and U13 boys. They would be involved in at the parish level, and then we would have every 3 months, we would have a national festival for them. So we look forward to having them playing against different people in a more organized format. What has been happening now is that clubs would engage other clubs in friendly rivalry to get matches for the kids. But we want to formalize this, and that would be in the hands of the parish grassroots coach. Each parish has a grassroots coach, and they would coordinate and organize those events within their parish. And that should be starting in January also.
Because I believe we were looking at a transition from one stage to the other, right? So the U10s will eventually become the under-13s, and then we move them up until they get to the senior level.
Yes, definitely. And we want to have all these competitions rolling out at the club level, the U10s, U13s, U15s, U17s, U19s at the club level. And we also add in the parish competition at the U14 level, the U16 level, and the U18 level. And those parish teams would be engaged so that we can identify the players that would move on to the senior team. So when we look at the under-13 players, they go from the clubs, they go into the under-14 program at the parish level, and the under-15s go into the under-16 program and so forth, so that we have continuous play for the top players and continuous training for them, so that our results at the senior level will be much better, and we would see more players at the local level playing at the national team.
So we're looking at a timeline of maybe about 10 years, possibly, for us to get to that place?
Well, I think it can be shorter. I mean, our U20 players are playing pretty well. Our under-17 teams are playing pretty well. They have been engaged over the last 4 years. So it would be sooner than later. But for the program to be full up and running, yes, it would take about 10 years.
The growth over time of the game in Grenada, I think we are seeing it. We know that now the GFA has a home. I think now it's complete because we've seen it. We're seeing so much more now. And in addition to that, you're also building capacity. Having people on board, yes, it's one part, but we know that continuous training is how we get them to where we would want them to be. As you have opportunities to grow, information is shared, and we move from one stage to the other. The GFA hosted a referees session last weekend, I believe, with our young referees. It finishes on Monday, right? So it's ongoing. What I want us to speak to this, because I know we over the past couple of years, we have had a number of our referees that Rayon Radix and so that has been officiating in regional games, and so it means that we are doing something good. Let's speak about that continued program to build capacity.
The referees are part of the game. Obviously, the game cannot play without referees, and we put a lot of effort in recruiting and engaging our referees. That would be the second referees program within the last couple of months. We had a new recruiting program, which was hosted locally by our lecturers here, Mr. Valman Bilo and Mr. Onis Richardson. and some of them made it onto that MA course. That's a FIFA course that it finished on Monday. We have some of them in that course as well. We want to put on more referees at the regional level. We only have 2 referees now at the FIFA level. We're hoping to get some more. And we have some talents there that we are grooming to move on to the next level. We see Radix, he's doing tremendous work, and he's favored as one of the top youth referees coming through the ranks at the CONCACAF level. And hopefully we will see him in, if it's not this World Cup in 2022, but the next World Cup, we should be seeing him on the stage and showing up Grenada.
Okay, that is excellent news. That is excellent news. It means, therefore, that, as I rightfully said before we went into that question, we are seeing the growth in the games because we are bearing, well, the fruits are there to show. And we have to commend the president, the executive and team at the GFA for that continued progress. Let us speak about the girls, women's football. I know over the years we have been shifting the goalpost. Before, it was seen as a men's game, but now we know that our women are very much involved in the process, and GFA put a lot of emphasis now on our girls, and we see that they are getting involved in the game. Let us speak about it. You said that they are preparing now for the CONCACAF, the under-17 team. They're preparing for the CONCACAF competition next year. Outside of that, we know that you have other competitions where the teams, the clubs, have girls' team now a part of their structure. Let us talk to the women in football.
Well, women have been involved in women football, so every time I hear it, I get excited. The girls are playing. The pandemic would have limited the number of matches because the competition would have finished. But the girls are going to be engaged in a festival on the 4th and 5th of December. These are our local girls. And that is also in preparation for the U17 girls. So we have invited 3 clubs, Queen's Park Rangers, Boca Juniors, and Paradise, to a festival with the under-17 girls so that they can get some matches, and also the teams can get some matches in preparation for their league next year. We are gonna, these 3 clubs, they are way ahead of the rest. So we're gonna put the under-17 with them, and we're gonna form a league, a Premier League with the girls. Start that with these 4 teams, and hopefully it grows over time. And the other teams, we're gonna have them in a developmental league where they continue to play and try to progress onto the Premier League stage where they can play full-sided games. Our national team will also be engaged next year. CONCACAF is launching the Nations League. The men has the Nations League. We know Grenada is in League 1, where they would play probably 3 teams, so probably they can draw the likes of Mexico, USA, Canada, Jamaica. These are some of the top teams in League 1, so we are there. So the women version of that will be rolled out, and Grenada will be hosting Jamaica here. And I think that match is sometime in February. So look forward for that. So our women team will be engaged. And we are just going to be pushing again women football at the parish level and at the club level 2022 and beyond.
To ask about that, because you said the 3 teams, the 3 clubs there are the ones, their girls program, and we advanced. And I was about to ask, what are the plans then to get more of our clubs, or all our clubs rather, to have a women's team where we can get to the point where we would eventually have a women's Premier League. I'm sure that is the goal of the FA.
Well, yeah, that is taking place. We have a number of teams, right? We had 10 teams started the women competition last year with the 7v7. 9 completed. So we do have teams there that are in the progress. We have the likes of, we have a new team from St. Andrews Vanguards. We have GBSS with Just Sports. Just off the top of my head, who am I going with? it has been a while to name the teams, but we have FC Comahan there. We have Five Stars there. So we have actually 3 clubs from Grenville playing women football. We have 3 clubs from St. George's playing the women football. We have, like I said, Boca Juniors from St. Patrick's, and I'm just off the top. We have Police, Royal Grenada Police Force through the J.W. Fletcher program. They have their women program up and running. So we expect to get more interest in the coming years as more and more girls see girls playing football. We're gonna get involved, and as more girls go out to play, as we know, we have a couple of girls out there on scholarships. The likes of Treasure, we have Ronisha, and both of their teams won their championship in their respective leagues. We just had Coy Smith going off on a coaching program. We have Connie John return from a coaching program. So we are building capacity in the women's area as well. And as we have more teams playing, we're going to have more administrators on board. So the game itself is going to expand.
I like to hear that. I remember a couple of years ago when John went off and she went to Barbados. So now she's back from another coaching session. And I am happy to hear that, because I was about to ask about opportunities, but you covered all of it in that response. So it means that we are heading in the right direction. We are headed in the right direction. Yes.
And I must say, yesterday in our meeting again, we were looking at the budget and discussing scholarship opportunities for our youths, and that's male and female players, and how we would best support them as they aspire to enhance their learning as well as playing football and develop themselves to contribute back to the sport. And so we are on the right track with that, and expect great things for women and boys and men in the future.
It's important that we continue to highlight those who have taken up the opportunity, the many opportunities out there to build capacity. We have Mr. Lee that is doing the Masters FIFA program, I believe, out there. He's attached to that. We also have Ms. John that came back. We had Mark, who is or now an employee at GFA, who came back from also studying sports administration. So there are people, there are testimonies, there are ambassadors of this, and we encourage more of our young people that sports does not work by itself, but the combination is excellent, and sports give them the perfect start as relates to discipline to move forward, use the educational part and be even greater.
Definitely. We have a lot of testament all over with different sport where athletes would have come back and contribute to the sport, and so the kids and the youths can look forward to great things. Continue doing your academic and continue with your sport. They both go hand in hand. So don't just go play in the park and don't read the book. They go hand in hand. So, well, no, read the tablet. So just do what you need to do so that you can use the opportunities once they provide itself.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swan. Before you run off, though, just remind us of the schedule for the resumption. Games resume on the 11th of December. That's the Premier League. There are also other competitions, so just remind us of the dates. And before you do that, though, there was a question I had to ask and it slipped me. But you said no spectators. Is that how we'll be resuming the Premier League, or so? Are you still hoping that things will change by then?
Well, in the COVID environment, things are dynamic. So we are hoping that things will change and we are allowed to have some people, whether it's vaccinated or we have protocols in place so that people can go watch the matches. So we're waiting on that to go ahead. But we really want people to watch football. And I think a hard line as just no fans was kind of tough for us, but I know we are going into the stage of everything being vaccinated. So even though it's just vaccinated fans, I believe you should be able to get some fans.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully, we will have an opportunity to go out and see football again. We look forward to this. We look forward to this. I mean, growing up in a community like Victoria, on a Sunday, every house is left to go to the park, especially when Hurricane is playing. So I think I just shared my bias there. We all know what my team, who is my preferred team. But yes. I know you saw the smile. I know you saw the smile when you gave the point standing. So yes, you go out on a Sunday and it's a nice social gathering. You get to see people you have not seen in a while. So it offers a lot more than just the game. It offers a lot more than just the game. It brings us together as a people. And I'm hoping that we do get that nod as we move closer. So Mr. Swan, as I said, just remind us again of competition, the dates on the resumption of competition as we conclude this morning.
We have the under 19s. They are in the quarter. We have one quarterfinal match which we're gonna play this weekend. Closed venue stadium. We're gonna do the semifinals on the 5th and close off on the 16th with the finals. We have the Premier League. The Premier League is gonna kick off as this year on the 11th with 2 matches. Shantimel hosts FC Comoran in 4 and Queen's Park Rangers hosts USS in the stadium. And the following day, we have 3 matches. Hard Rock hosts Hurricane, Saab hosts Montreal, and St. John's Sports House Paradise. We have our under 13, the final round. That will be on the 12th, Sunday, the 12th of December. And the under 15s, they would play in January. They have 4 more rounds of matches to play. And then we go into the semi-final and finals. So a lot of it, and I just want to take the opportunity to thank the sponsors that come on board. People like Sandals, people like Grenada Breweries, they are always on board with us, Glenelg and so forth. So I just want to reach out and thank them for supporting football and supporting the growth of our youth.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swan. It was a pleasure, always a pleasure speaking with you because you always bring me some good news, something to smile about. And usually, we know that the teams are not disappointing.
Final in the under 19.
Something, an even better reason to smile. So yes, our teams are making us proud, whomever we support. But we wish everyone the best as we look forward to going back to not normalcy, but better, where we can go back to where we're doing the things that we enjoy, the social events, participating, but doing so in the safest possible way. So, Mr. Swan, it was a pleasure again speaking with you. I'm sure we will be speaking to you again as the competitions resume. The competition update on where we at as we get closer to the determining phases, semi-finals, finals. We will be speaking to you again as you update us on that. So it's a pleasure. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Have yourself a wonderful day. And to the team at GFA, we say thank you again for your continued support and contribution to the growth of this very important sport here on Island.
Thank you.
So there we had it. We were speaking there with competitions officer at the Grenada Football Association, GFA, Mr. Bruce Swan. The resumption of competition come the 11th, December 11th. It will be the Premier League. There's another that will be starting this weekend, and so many more that will be up as we move into 2022. So far, it's still spectator-free games, but the GFA is hoping that we will get a more positive response from the COVID committee as we try to relax some of the restrictions, as we know that we are still living within this very, very, very dangerous time with this pandemic. But let's do what we can to ensure that we are safe. We may get to the point where some may be allowed. Let's hope that we do, because I know that we all looking forward to going out and looking at a game of football. We all are. So let's see what happens, but let's play our part still to ensure that our environment continues to be safe, so that we can do so and get back to better, not normal, but better after this pandemic. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we speak to Mr. Jude Bartholomew.
Of your life. For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
The Christmas holiday season is weeks away, and MTV, along with Magic FM, is providing advertising rates, programs, and special deals for businesses. Let us help you boost your products, services, and Christmas specials. Don't have an advert? Don't stress. We can create it for you. Contact MTV Marketing Department for details and booking on 440-8171, 405-5718, or mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Book early and bring cheer to families for Christmas. Terms and conditions apply.
Do I need to wear a mask and avoid close contact with others if I am fully vaccinated?
Thank you, and this is a very important question. The vaccines that we have against COVID-19 are very effective vaccines, and it gives a really good chance of not developing the disease. We must know that there is no vaccine that provides 100% protection for any disease. With that being said, we do expect cases of disease among people who are fully vaccinated. Though this is rare, it can happen, and we call this breakthrough infections. This is not unique to COVID-19. This doesn't mean that the vaccines aren't working. It means that not everyone who receives vaccines has 100% protection, and as a result, vaccinated persons, if they become infected, are capable of transmitting the virus to others. For these reasons, vaccinated persons must continue to practice the prevention measures like mask wearing and avoiding close contact or crowded places. So to answer your question, yes, you need to wear a mask and avoid close contact with others even if you are fully vaccinated.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. In case you're just joining us, we spoke a while ago to Mr. Bruce Swan, Competitions Officer at the GFA. Now we get into our second discussion for the morning. It's now 9 minutes past 8 o'clock. We're speaking to the President of the GUT, the Grenada Union of Teachers. That's Mr. Jude Bartholomew. Mr. Bartholomew, good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine.
Good morning to you. It's wonderful. It's a pleasure to be on your program this morning.
Mr. Bartholomew, we're going to get on straight into it. This morning, we start off with a comment that was made by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell in a media engagement session held last Sunday in his response to the pension matter. Speak to us about the union's position on that. The Prime Minister, in his response to a question, said that the pension matter is settled, but there are certain aspects that remain unresolved.
Well, it's wonderful to know that you brought up this matter. This is an urgent and a very important matter to all of us, public officers, teachers, and concern to the nation. In fact, teachers and other officers, public officers, were basically appalled with the statement that the Prime Minister would have made probably on Sunday, and that came on GBN News on Monday afternoon and Monday evening news. We are to know also that this pension matter is not settled. This is an unsettled matter. That matter, in fact, by the various unions, PW, teachers, and other unions, together with police and prison officers, that matter is before the judges in the High Court. In fact, the last, basically, hearing of that, the summarization of the court matter was held on the 15th of October. And so this matter is in the hands of the judge. So if it was a settled matter, then the unions, together with teachers, the Grenada Union of Teachers, would not have taken this matter to court. One would go back to, I don't know the reason why the Prime Minister would have made such a statement, but one would go back also to the situation in Grenada, probably the previous elections, with basically the gas. The gas matter has not been settled, and that two announcements were made basically at the same time, the Memorandum of Understanding and basically the island gas matter in Grenada. So these two are unsettled matters. When you look at the Memorandum of Understanding, The various unions went to this matter in negotiations in good faith, trying to see how we could settle the matter, knowing that basically the 1958 pension, you may say, were outlawed, and there were some contentious issues there. So in the, you may say, the negotiations and such, this is a memorandum of understanding. A memorandum of understanding basically is some various ground principles and such by which negotiation could take place in terms of bringing some finality to the pension matter. After this memorandum of understanding, and the reason why probably this memorandum of understanding was signed, knowing that it was very close to elections, and probably the unions were afraid that another government probably would have come into power. So you're negotiating, and some of the points of the outstanding matters that you hope to be settled, you just want to safeguard it and have it there. After election, these matters were incomplete. After the election, the government of Grenada never went back into negotiations with the unions to settle this matter. There is no formula in the memorandum of understanding for settling pension. What the government stated basically is 70%. 60% in this memorandum of understanding is the NS. The NS has to pay. The NS is not paying pension, it's an old age benefit. So when the government or the Prime Minister said 70%, to make the nation believe that the government of Grenada is paying 70% basically to teachers or public officers and such is not correct. The government is only paying 10%. Now you go back now to the law, the Constitution of Grenada, 1958. Pension law. Basically, that was secured. This pension matter is secured in the Constitution of Grenada. And basically, pension for the government, the consolidated fund, is 66%. That's what the government is supposed to pay to people who are pensionable. Not every, and another thing is that the government tried to make it believe that, yes, it's so much money because every worker has to receive a pension, and that is not correct. That is incorrect. Only persons who are in a prominent position, whether teachers or other public officers. So you have to be in a pensionable position. So it's not everybody. And if we go back now to the 66%, the government has to pay that and not 10%. So that is the issue there. The other thing in law, based on the Constitution of Grenada, the Constitution of Grenada states clearly for all of us to know. And if you go back at page 92, and you look at basically Article B there, Section B, and you look at Section 3, it says, by law, enforced at a later date at no less favorable to the person. So what we are saying now, if the government, yes, they can change the pension law as they did. They disqualified the 1958 pension law. But if they have to come with another law to replace it, it must not be less favorable. And that is what the Constitution is telling us here, that it must be equal to or greater than the law that they abolish. So to come with 10% basically from government, which that 66% of your pension should be paid by government based on the Constitution, is basically null and void. So what one seen there with the memorandum of understanding is that the government is breaking their own law or the Constitution of Grenada. And to go a little further, let me read from you from page 92, Article 3 there, where a person is entitled to exercise an option as to which of two or more laws shall apply in his case, the law for which he opts shall, for the purposes of the section, be deemed to be more favorable to him than the other law or laws. So that's the Constitution of Grenada here. Look at it here. If you want to get rid of a pension 1958, the one that you want to replace it with, it must be equal to or it must be greater than, and not less favorable to the pensioner, to the workers. And that's what the government of Grenada is trying to do. This is the reason why the memorandum is basically null and void. There is no formula. We haven't had discussions after elections in terms of that. That was supposed to be passed and go into law, enter into law. And nothing like that happened. And there are many, many cases where teachers and other public officers have retired and not even received the 10% or the 60%, the 70% that the government talking about. That is another situation of contention. Only a few persons who would have received such thing from the government. So this bragging and the boasting is just another way of probably that is incorrect. But I want to go back to something here. So this matter must be settled by the courts. And that is the reason why the unions took the matter to the court, because there is no gratuity. Teachers who know, when the unions came to them, the Grenada Union of Teachers, during the discussions, that we have discussions around gratuity and full pension. Pension entails gratuity and pension together collectively. And it's not something free or favor that the government is doing. That is based on law, based on your service to the state. You work with the state for a number of years, and this is calculated and guaranteed based on when you retire. That's one thing we want to do. Another thing I want to bring here, a piece of information, that the very said pension that the government says that 1958 is disqualified. I look up on, when you go back to collective bargaining agreements, we look at 1997 between the government of Grenada and the Grenada Union of Teachers, the Grenada Technical and Allied Workers Union, and the Cement and Waterfront Union. There was a collective bargaining agreement in 1997 to go back now to 1993, all right, where this implement is supposed to be in effect. So even if basically the government says that the 1958 pension was disqualified based on negotiations in 1997, what the government would have done with the other unions is to restore the same pension. And you have here, in fact, going a little further in terms of the teacher's benefit manual. After 20 years in the teaching profession, in a pensionable position, the teacher can retire together with the public officer. You can retire after 20 years and receive your pension. So, and it's so interesting who signed this here. It was the NNP government. And we want to see now who are the persons that basically signed this agreement in terms of reconsolidating or reinstating pension for teachers and some other public officers here in 1997. And I will just call out for you the names of the signatories to some of this agreement here. You have here Mr. Patrick Bob. Patrick Bob signing for the Honorable Dr. Kit Mitchell. That is what is in the agreement here before us that we can see. You may not be able to see that document here, the signatories. Mr. Patrick Bob, on behalf of the Honorable Dr. Kit Mitchell, Minister of Finance. That's one here. All right, you have Ms. Gloria Payne Banfield, leader of the government negotiating team. You have the Honorable here, Chester Humphrey, leader of the Technical and Allied Workers Union, negotiating, and you may say the need negotiator for all the unions for fringe benefit here. So the Chester Humphrey is here, is a signature to this in 1997. You have Cyril St. Louis, deputy leader of the Cement and Waterfront Workers Union. And then you have Mr. Samuel Britton, deputy leader of GUT. And this agreement is honored here and signed here by the Labor Commissioner, Mr. Cyrus Griffith, in 1997. That collective bargaining negotiation there, basically reinforcing the 1958 pension, even going further for 20 years and upwards, 26 and 2/3 years by which a public officer, a teacher can retire. So one would ask, why didn't, because Dr. Kit Mitchell here, a signature to hear somebody on his behalf, why didn't he, even right now, reinstate or honor this agreement in terms of paying teachers and public officers their pension based on the 1997 agreement, because his name is here. That is some of the
that document that you're speaking to there, you said that before the memorandum of understanding that was signed just bore the last election, that there was no formula. Was there one in the 1997 that document that was signed by all these representatives from the unions and the government's behalf? Because to me, there seemed to
there is always there based on the 1958 pension. So after 26 and 2/3 years, under the government of Grenada, based on the pension, 66% of your last salary, basically. And the formula basically is constructed whether or not, if you have to get your pension, is pension and gratuity. So what happens in pension and gratuity? If you have to, let's say, get $100 in your pension. Now you can take a full pension if you want, a full pension without gratuity. So if it's $100 you have to get a month, you get the whole $100. If you take gratuity, you choose for that. All right, you'll get 25% of your pension. All right, so you get that in your hand as a gratuity, and the 75% basically as a pension every month. So that is basically what is happening there. So if you have to get $100, $75 a month every month, and that 25% or $25, you get it as a lump sum, basically beforehand. That is your gratuity.
Okay. So we are saying here that when it was suspended in 1983, that in 1997, when that new document was presented, it was presented back to that 1958 law as it relates to the pensions.
Yes, based on that.
And nothing has happened since. I am hearing here that we have not gotten anywhere. We have signed the documents, yes, for the reinstating of the pensions. That's 1997. A memorandum of understanding was signed before the last election, which was 2018. But since then, we have not agreed. Government has agreed to 10%. According to the Constitution, it cannot be less. It needs to be either, I guess, on the same level or even better. Government has agreed to 10%, and that is unacceptable, and that's the reason why we're in court. So the question is, how do we move forward?
All right, so just to reinforce what you're saying in the 1997 agreement, further down below it says, unless basically this automatically comes into play, the 1997 agreement, unless you do not reach another agreement or anything else replaces it. So it means that automatically it is still in play. It is still in play. What we are saying, how do you remove? Workers would not, it is not acceptable. You are breaking the Constitution of Grenada, basically the law of the land. Because if the government should argue that they get rid of the 1958 pension, then they did not get rid of part of the Constitution that still says, even if you replace the 1958 pension and you want to have something else in its place, it must be equal to or greater than. So basically what we're saying there, the government in itself breached the memorandum of understanding by trying to pay 10% to its workers, and we will not allow that. That is the reason why. So basically it's the court basically the last bastion of justice that have to settle this pension matter. And it's a just matter. Basically the workers were treated unjustly, unfairly, and unfortunately by the government of Grenada and various governments. All right, and that's where I was seeing. So we want the court now to settle this pension matter once and for all. And that's the reason why we take this matter to the court.
So now on the final outcome, we wait on the final outcome from the court. But we know that there are other issues that are affecting the union and its membership. So let us go on now to the regularization of workers. That one continues. That one has been a contentious matter on the table for quite a while.
Concern for all of us too, because we did hear Dr. Mitchell talk about regularization and things like that, so on, like if, well, everything is fine. We know there is a big problem there in terms of regularization. Temporary teachers for 15 years, 10 years, 12 years, they're going on too long. Nurses and doctors, other public officers, in terms of, you may say, contract work and such. And one of the things that you can tie together there, when somebody's on contract work or they are not regularized, you realize that they would not receive any pension from the state. They would not get any pension. And that could be one of the various reasons why the government is not hurrying and hustling basically to regularize temporary teachers, nurses, and other persons, because they know it's a strategic move and a strategic way by not being able to honor pension and pay them any pension. So you find these persons will be working for a number of years, and if they retire, they have nothing to get. And that is unfair and unfortunate. So we are calling on the government of Grenada. It was very, very interesting to hear the persons who were interviewing Dr. Mitchell when they talk about the concerns of nurses, the concern for nurses and other persons. And they asked the Prime Minister, can you extend the contract work for about 5 years? Make it more than 2 years, but for 5 years? It doesn't matter how long you extend it. It is unjust and unfair, especially persons basically who are in a prominent position. So even if you put it for 5 years, you put it for 15 years, it would mean that they have no security. So what we're calling on the government of Grenada, the Honorable Prime Minister, and so the Public Service Commission, is to intervene and to regularize the teachers who are basically in a prominent position. The space is there. And what is happening is not that there's no space. There are a lot of teachers, when they got employed and so, the space is there. So nobody, they're not holding on for anybody. They have other workers in the public service that are not holding on for anybody. And there is no reason why this person should not be regularized. So we call in, I hope that the basically appropriation are made in the budget and such for this. And we're calling on the government of Grenada because it's unfair and unfortunate, and that is a vexatious matter that has been going on for too long. So we're calling for the government of Grenada, the Prime Minister, to intervene and to regularize all these teachers, nurses, doctors, and temporary workers for all this period of time and to compensate them adequately.
Okay. Another issue we know that's still on the table for the union is that of the dock salary. When that last action was taken, that last industrial action it had to do with the 4% increase, I believe. Any headway? Have you made any progress on this matter?
This November here now, this time around November is very painful for teachers and public officers. That is like a death in your family that you could never get over. And this is the 3 years, the 3-year anniversary of the dock salary. And we're saying it's so shameful, hurtful, and painful, and you may say impactful, in the sense that a democratic government, which you have teachers and public officers who have unions, the right to union representation and to take part in trade union activities in a democratic society, that the government would have, you may say, unceremoniously remove or take away your dock salary. You have single mothers, single parents. One would want to remember, here now election time is coming around, and the very said government will be saying, well, asking the young people to vote for me and to support me and such. But at the same time, these young children, they would have been probably around 15 years, probably getting ready to do their exams. Some of them probably would have been in college, probably more than that, persons in primary school. At November, when the government robbed the teachers and public officers of their salary, these teachers and other workers didn't have money to send their children to school. And these children now, as young persons, young adults who have attained the age of 18, they must remember and go back to the struggles of their parents, their friend, their family, their auntie, their nenen, and somebody else for all this period of time when the government of Grenada, taking away the ordinary workers. These workers, teachers, and other public officers are poor people children, and taking away the money unceremoniously, hurting them for Christmas. Some of these children couldn't even get a toy. And then now you come now in terms of that and reminding them that you love them so much and such, and asking them, so teachers must be wise, public officers must be wise, the families of public officers and students and such. Now you're reaching the age of 18 and such, but you must remember what the government did, the unjust thing that the government did to your teachers would have taught you, to your parents, to other persons and such. And we're calling on the government of Grenada to do the honorable thing and to give back teachers and public officers their dock salary. And we'll try to make move to get this money because it's unjust and it's unfair. They don't have to appropriate that in the budget. The government cannot say they don't have money for that because they took it out. That was all monies in all salaries. So somehow it is there. So all they have to do is to find the wheel, and the government should forget about who budged and who didn't budge and such. Let's settle this matter and pay the dock salary because it would not be forgotten. We'll keep coming after it.
Okay.
You have teachers here now from TAMCC from since 2020 who passed their exams and such and should be upgraded by the Ministry of Education, the Public Service Commission, and then you have DPA, you have the Public Service Commission, the Ministry of Education dragging their foot from that on this matter. How many? 2020, and these persons cannot be upgraded and get a compensation. You have basically persons, teachers with their masters and bachelors who would have paid to study and do their degree, not to say they get a scholarship from the government of Grenada. So these people now, they take the loan and they're waiting now to be upgraded. The government says at the Ministry of Education that you must upgrade yourself. And for years upon years, these things are vexatious issue, and it is very sad. For whatever reason, we don't know for whatever reason, for years, these persons with their masters, their bachelors, and persons sometimes just cannot be upgraded and get the adequate compensation. And those things are just sitting there in the Ministry of Education for years upon years upon years. And we hope that the government would have made the necessary appropriation in this budget to rectify this issue. Because if you cannot be upgraded, all those things, when you put them together, pension, regularization, your masters, your bachelors, upgrading and everything, those things basically have a one individual connection and hurting the worker, hurting the teacher, hurting everybody. And this is so sad. So we're asking the government of Grenada to do the honorable thing and such, and to basically rectify some of these injustices that was done to workers, whether pension, whether regularization, whether upgrading, and all those things. And finally, to say, one would want to say here that this situation with the pension, with regularization, with upgrading of teachers from TAMCC and other workers, with the masters, the bachelors, every worker, established worker, not only established worker, but temporary workers, have suffered some of the humiliation and injustice. And to sum it up, one would go back to the George Floyd case in the United States, where basically the police officers had their foot on his neck and they were stifling him. This is a different type of stifling in Grenada, where you have the government of Grenada stifling the workers, because when you cannot get your pension and you retire hot, what they're doing is basically putting their foot on your pension. You cannot breathe, the workers cannot breathe. When you retire, you cannot breathe financially and such. So we're asking the government of Grenada to take out their foot on the workers' neck, pension neck, and to restore it. Give the workers some dignity. Give the workers some breathing space. Honor your workers and such. And go back to the Constitution. We hope that all these things will restore. So we're asking the workers to be wise and to be careful, because when you might hear in the budget, you hear an announcement and everything like that. So because one would think that election is close, and so everything coming, but workers, their family, their friends, their neighbors, everybody have to analyze these things well. And we have to stand up together and to say, finally, this pension thing and what we are fighting for is not just for teachers today, not just for public officers today. Parents, don't think about sides, political divides. What we are fighting for is to secure pension and gratuity and other benefits for your children, the unborn, the pregnant ladies, women, all right, those who are nursing their babies. You're talking about even persons here that you have your children going to school. If we don't rectify this matter now, you know what would happen? Your children later on, for generations to come, would suffer the consequences of working with the government of Grenada for contract work for a long time to come. No benefits. They will have to go even worse than what we are going through with no pension and such. And this is basically a humiliation against economic justice, social and economic justice for everybody. So we're calling on the nation. We're asking the Honorable Court and the Judge to basically rule in our favor, all right, for the pension issue and other matters to be rectified.
Bartholomew, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I would like to have a follow-up conversation with you, because this morning, and we know what is the union's position, we know what is the union's mandate and role, but I want us to get to a situation, or rather a crisis that we have on island. It is the union's role to represent workers, who represents the employers. And the issue that we have, a crisis, chronic issue that we have, a production, or rather lack thereof, on island. And how do we plan to tackle it? And how the union will now play a part in ensuring that we have a sector, or that we have workers that are producing more, so that at the end of the day, remember, benefits come after production. And I want us to have that conversation. We cannot have it this morning. We cannot have it this morning.
Interesting conversation, because we do produce. And when you give persons their pension, when you give workers their pension and all the other benefits, they will even produce more for you. So
Understand that. We're not saying that anybody's not producing. We need to speak, though, to the issues that are affecting our labor force. We have a labor force in some cases, and I'm speaking here from experience, that production, it is a problem, and we need to speak to it, and we need to hear the union's voice as to how we fix this issue. And we're not speaking here specifically to government, we're speaking here to workers in general. We are not speaking to the workers. Remember, we're not speaking to the converted. We're not speaking to the people who are contributing. We know the people who are working, but we also know of the percentage that are not doing what they need to do. And we need to speak to this. And I want us to speak to this. But as I said, not today, Not today. Let us have this conversation because I want to hear how the union plans to add their voice. Because remember, once you represent workers, we represent everyone. Whether you're doing what you should or not, but we represent all. So it means that if we do have a crisis or we have a challenge, that as a team we should come together to figure out how we fix that. And I want us to have this. This one I think is going to be an even more interesting conversation as we share on, because remember, once we're speaking incentive, we speak in giving, we also have to speak of producing, because it comes after that.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to that.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Bartholomew. Let's wait to see what's the outcome from the court, because we know that's what will happen with the pension matter, and how we move forward then with all the other issues that are on the table that we hope can be amicably resolved.
Thank you.
Right, so today we are speaking with President of the Grenada Union of Teachers, Mr. Jude Bartholomew, on some of the issues that are first responding to the Prime Minister's comment on the pension matter, that it is resolved, and that they are still, according to him, not resolved, but there are still so much more that needs to happen. The docked salaries, the regularization of workers, and some of the promotion, some of the teachers getting their standardized position after continued education. So there are a number of issues on the table. We do hope, though, that there can be some amicable solutions to all. Before we conclude, it's now 8:37 in the morning. The lotto results, the results draws conducted on Wednesday, 24th November 2021. The winning number for the Playway midday draw, 26. The symbol yard fowl. The winning number for the Playway evening draw, 29. Symbol sickness. The winning numbers for the Daily Pig 3 midday draw, 9, 1, and 1. The winning numbers for Daily Pig 3 evening draw, 1, 3, and 2. The winning numbers for the Daily Cash 4 midday draw, 8, 3, 4, and 5. The winning numbers for the Daily Cash 4 evening draw, 6, 4, 7, and 4. The lotto results for Wednesday, 24th November 2021 were as follows: 5, 15, 18, 22, and 30. The numbers again: 5, 15, 18, 22, and 30. And the free ticket letter is B, as in bonus. There were 74 match 3 winners paying $11 and 2 match 4 winners paying $409. The current estimated lotto jackpot is now $108,000. And that's the results from draws conducted on Wednesday, 24th November by the National Lotteries Authority. So this is where we conclude for this morning. We say thank you so much to both our guests, Mr. Bruce Swan and Mr. Jude Bartholomew, sharing with us this morning. To all our viewers and listeners, we do hope you enjoyed this morning's program. Thank you so much for joining us. To the team, Chad, Tanya, Kishan, another successful program. We say thank you so much for your hard work in ensuring that this morning or today is a reality. And of course, I'll be back here with you next week, Tuesday, God's will. All things remaining the same. At that time, we'll be concluding the month of November and going into the last month of the year. And of course, we're getting ready for Christmas. I know we're all excited about that one. So we say thank you so much to everyone for another program in Rise and Shine. All things being the same, I'll be back here with you next week, Tuesday, God's will, when we do this all over again. Have yourself a wonderful day, everyone. Please remember, we're still living within the pandemic. Please be safe. Adhere to the protocols. Wear your mask. Sanitize. Provide your contact information. Please be safe. Continue to be vigilant. We are not entirely out of the woods. Things have improved, yes. But if we become complacent, we can go back to where we were, and that we don't want. So let's continue to be vigilant, be safe, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Please be safe. We meet again next Tuesday, God's will.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
For your education,
for your financial freedom.
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
What are you doing?
Just extending the intimacy. Hey, do you want to slip over to the radiation lab and share a decontamination shower?
Okay, what exactly do you think's going on between us?